Yo, what's good? It's been on fire here, back on the video answer. We're hopping into my Georgia offensive ebook in college football 25. Now, Georgia has been one of the best teams, obviously, to use in this game because of how good they are in real life. And they are one of the best teams to use just for the playbook that they have. So we're going to be showing off the Georgia playbook. Obviously, a lot of you guys know that a lot of people like to use Georgia, and if you are one of those people that likes using Georgia, this can only make you better learning how to use this. Now, what do we like about Georgia's offense? We like bunch, we like this cluster, and then I also like the Dece Close. Now, we will have a written version of the ebook, which is going to be available for purchase both in the comment section pinned and in the description. First link in the description. It will be a written version of the ebook, and in that written version, it will include every single setup that I go through in this video one by one, written down with every single hot route that is mentioned, as well as all the coverages that each setup beats. So I think it's super cheap. It is super good for the price. I've never had anybody complain about it. Once again, purchase that down below in the description and in the comment section. It is definitely worth the bang for your buck. You will learn this offense much easier and much quicker. So we're going to start out with the gun bunch, and my audibles will be bunch trail, base, bunch sail, and corner strike. Some of the other plays we will go over will be bench pivot, smash return. We will go over flood. We will go over mesh spot, C spot, and go, dig return, and that is about it. So we're going to start out in bunch trail. I'm going to have my bunch flipped for this video. And let's go ahead and jump straight into it without further ado. Also, if you guys are new to the channel, please go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel down below for more of these ebooks, and let me know which ones you guys want to see next. So, starting out with this bunch trail, this first setup is going to be flat X and flat Y. This is going to be just a very simple setup. We have a backside post, we have an angle route with the tight end, corner route, and again, we get two little check downs over here that we can hit. So you can hit the flats. It does depend if they're playing over the top. This is just solid. It's a good quick snap little play. The running back over here, you see he is open, and you can pick up about 5 or so. And then obviously if you want, you're able to work the middle of the field. The corner out, it may not be open just against the stock coverage, but you can also hit, that was a really bad throw from Carson Beck, but you can hit this backside post, which will be a theme of this offense. We'll hit a lot of these backside posts. And then of course you have the angle route. Very good man coverage beaters in this play. Let's hop into, and we will obviously, I have a lot of setups in this video, so we are going to go through in a relatively quick fashion, which is why it's easier to, have the written version in front of you, because it makes it easier to keep up. Regardless, we'll go through decently quick, and setup number 2 is just going to be dragging X. Now, X is already on a drag, but he will actually stop. He doesn't continue to run the route through, which I don't prefer, so we're going to put X on a drag, and we are going to put B on a post. B's already on a post, but we put him on a little shorter one, makes it easier to throw in the middle of the field. Of course, for the written version, there is an Xbox and a PlayStation version. So there you see the post in the middle of the field. Kind of want to throw it in that window. Obviously, we are going against cover 3 here. This play will usually work against cover 4. If it's cover 2, it can work. You really would just want the vert hook to be used. If there's a vert hook there, it usually won't be open. But then you have just some simple routes, which are good against man coverage, a little drag, and then you have your angle route. If it is cover 0, that's when the corner route can be used. But other than that, the corner route is a little bit tougher to throw just without anything else over there. But this is the angle route with the drag. Pulls over some of the zones to the right-hand side, and we're able to hit the angle route. Anyways, our next setup is going to be drag A, put X on a zig route. We're going to post B and block Y. So, again, just nice little, this is pretty much 2 high-low reads. We have the zig corner out, and then we have the drag with the backside post. Good 6-man protection if you're facing a little bit of pressure. Boom. There we're able to hit the tight end, which is, of course, usually going to be your first read. If you can hit these simple reads underneath, you're going to usually take advantage of them, right? And then you can hit this post, of course, as well. Over there on the left side, it's more good for man coverage over there than zone, but you can usually hit at least one of them. Like the zig, we could hit in this window. If we want the corner out, would be tougher to throw against cover 3, but against cover 2, it would be open. Anyways, let's hop into setup number 4. What we're going to do here is drag A, zig X, post B, and instead of blocking the running back, we're just going to put him on an angle route, which gives us an extra man coverage beater. It gives us an extra option, especially if these guys on the left happen to be blanketed, which is a possibility against a cover 3 hard flat, or cover 4 match would be decent against it. This gives us an extra option just in the middle of the field here. Now, of course, we would have hit post route there. Depends on the coverage that you're facing, but with this angle route, you could hit it in this window. Generally, with a user that bites hard on the drag, you can catch him off guard by hitting it late. And what it should do is also just open up the drag route, even more over here with our tight end, Delp. So let's hop into setup number 5, which is going to be our last setup out of this bunch trail play. And what we're going to do here is drag X, deep cross A, and Texas Y. So this is going to be a heavy man coverage beater. It's going to have some good options. We have the drag, we have the angle route, we have this deep crosser that can also get over the top and the corner out on the back end. So there you see the crosser able to get over the top and in that window, even with a pass lead upfield, which probably wasn't the best choice there. We are able to hit that. Again, this also does a really good job of opening up Trevor Etienne and the running back on that angle route, whereas having the tight end on a drag didn't necessarily open him up as much as it does in this particular case. So drag as kind of your last resort. If it's cover 0, again, you still have the corner out on the left, but we will use more of the corner outs in corner strike, in Z-spot and go, and some of those other plays. So stay tuned for that. But let's hop into our next play, which is going to be flood. And when I audible or switch my plays, I am going to go ahead and just back out so I don't have to audible every time, because that is one of the most annoying things for me in doing these videos. Setup number 1 is going to be flat Y and hitch X. Very simple setup. Again, same way we did out of that first bunch trail setup. You have your little check downs. The hitch should do a really good job of just getting straight up open in the zone here. You're going to have a nice high-low between flat and a route, and this is going to be one of the best cover 4 beaters in the game. I should have thrown it to B. I'll run it one more time here. So in this case, we have X open and we have B. If it's a different coverage, if it's man coverage, our B is going to be open. If it's cover 2, the flat is probably going to be open. So now B is not the greatest route runner, which is annoying. I probably should move someone else there. He runs very rounded routes, but that's fine. That is setup number 1. Let's hop into setup number 2 out of the flood play. And what we're going to do here is incorporate some wheel routes, which is something that are very useful. So we're going to throw our running back on a wheel. We're going to put this B or circle receiver on a speed out, and then we're just going to keep X on the hitch. So same route combo on the left. We get a nice route combo on the right here, switching it up. Like if he's all over this backside post because we've ran it out of other plays, it's going to defend the in route. So we just go with the wheel, and this is just another option to throw it to. Even though we are further on the right hash here, we are still able to get that to go. Being in the left or the middle hash, you could even flip this to the wide side and still have success. If you're able to pass lead it inside, you have some opportunity for that catch, that run after catch. So overall, just a very good route combo. You'll see more of these wheel routes as we progress throughout the video, but it's a pretty simple situation. Hitch is covered, we'll throw wheel. Wheel is covered, we'll throw hitch. Would work against, really, cover 2 is the only one it wouldn't work against. Cover 4, you should be able to get a match coverage and actually beat him deep on the wheel. Anyway, setup number 3, which is going to be our last setup out of flood, we are going to post A, flat Y, fade B, and put X on a zig. So interesting looking route combo here, but we have a couple of, again, high-low reads, post flat, zig out route. So again, if I'm throwing this zig, I'm probably going to hit it in this window, just depending on the coverage. I like it in that window. You could go deep cross if you'd like, but I do think that in labbing this, I liked this post route over the top a little bit more. Maybe it doesn't get open. Who knows? Or maybe we have to throw it late, if anything. But, I mean, you see flat is going to be open. I'm assuming the post is going to come across open as well, which it should. So, decent play there. Let's hop into our next play, which is going to be the corner strike. Now, the corner strike is going to be by far the most setups that we have for a play in EBOOK. And corner strike is a very kind of a rare play. There's not a lot of playbooks with bunch. Georgia may honestly be the only one. Now, Oregon has a bunch halfback strong, which does have a corner strike play, but it is not the same nearly. So I may back out and switch to some cover 2 just because corner strike is kind of known to be a little bit better against cover 2. But for this first setup, all you're going to do is streak RB and run this play very simply stock. You have 2 flats, streak, and 2 corner routes. Now, honestly, you'll probably recognize against cover 3, you almost want to be a little bit further on that left hash. You don't want to be super far, but you want to be a little bit further so that you have an opportunity to like throw this more on the sideline and make the catch like that. Whereas on that first setup, he's going so upfield that he doesn't cut far enough to the grass, and it just makes it tougher. So obviously corner out's going to be your first read, but you have the tight end over here. You have the running back that's wide open. As far as the C route goes on the right side, that's not something that will really throw often. This is more of just a quick snap setup. And you see that the running back is really the guy that you would hit against this coverage, and pretty much the same would be the case for cover 2. Cover 2, you would still have the flat and corner out open on the left. The corner out would be even more open, and the running back would still be the guy on this right-hand side. So setup number 2, we're going to go with RB on a streak and B on a post. So we're going to give ourselves more of an option. That C route, it does a good job of clearing out for ETN, but we can do the same thing with the post route, and it gives us another option to pass with. So especially against like a cover 3, these backside posts are going to be really the staple of your gun bunch offense. They're too good to not use. Like if you're not using these backside posts, you're missing out. It's just so difficult to recognize from a user perspective because the heavy eye focus is going to be on the left-hand side every time, especially as you start throwing these corner routes and these other routes, more often. Even there, bad throw, but you see the separation is open, the post is open, and the corner out is open. So very easy setup there, and it's a quick snap setup because it's only 2 hot routes. So you can really make those 2 hot routes, get to the line, snap the ball, and catch your opponent mid-adjustment, something like that. Anyways, setup number 3, what we're going to do is streak RB, post B, and put Y on a little corner route. This is more of a good man coverage setup. This is similar to the red zone scissors play. And out of the red zone scissors play, something that I didn't even put in the ebook, but you could do is maybe drag the tight end as well. But we'll just keep him on this corner route. You can hit him in this like quick window, generally speaking. So that's an option. Again, I would run this more for man coverage, but if you want to do something like this creates like a red zone scissors, and you're going to get this drag route wide open. So that's a good way to kind of implement it, which that setup is not in the ebook, but the original setup is good for cover 0. You're still going to have your corner out open. You're still going to have this post open. So pretty simple stuff there. Anyways, setup number 4, what we're going to do is deep cross RB and actually just drag B. So a little bit of an interesting setup. This would be, again, a good man coverage setup. As far as zone, you're creating kind of a high-low between the steep cross and backside drag. Of course, one of these flat corner outs will be open on the left, and then you have your check down, which really should still be open over here. So this is definitely something different, as you have more of the movement going from left to right now rather than right to left, which has been kind of our heavy theme. So it's just something good to mix it up. Definitely catch your opponent off guard. Hit this crosser in the middle of the field right about there. You could go post. I do think I prefer crosser for this particular setup. And there's again that window. Now take a hit there. Again, if that's a user, you're probably being able to catch him off guard in these throws. With a user controlled defender, will make it a little bit easier. Like it's going to be a lot. Obviously, the drag is going to be the read in this particular case. Against cover 2, the crosser would probably be a potential read. So that is a very strong setup. Let's go into... actually, I'll stay in. I was going to switch to cover 2, but we'll stay in the cover 3 just because some of the setups are more centered around cover 3. Let's move the ball back a little bit. Anyways, we got 3 more setups for this play. What we're going to do first is drag B, put A on a post, and streak RB. So again, kind of a similar look to that previous play. Biggest difference is that we have the tight end now on the route that's going across the field rather than the slot wide receiver. We have the slot receiver as a clear out so that we can also still open up this corner route. So you can still hit the corner out on the sidelines. I did respot the ball a little bit, which is why that was a little bit of a tighter throw than it previously was. But again, very similar setup, but it is still different. You can hit this guy in the middle of the field there. Definitely a very completable pass against cover 2, cover 3, cover 4. And it is, again, a solid quick snap setup. You can still hit ETN out of the backfield here if you needed a couple yards. That's an option. And if he plays very over the top over there, it is certainly something that we can take care of. So you can even lead him upfield a little bit, which is what we did there. Rather than going across the sideline, that's usually the better option against cover 3. Against cover 2, it could be more right to left, but it really depends on how he plays his cover 2 defense. You don't really see a whole lot of cover 2 regardless. Anyways, let's hop into setup number second to last out of this corner strike. What we're going to do here is drag RB, wheel Y, speed out B. So a little interesting looking quick snap play. Obviously, we can hit a running back here. Now, with RB, we can do a couple of things here. I did put the drag as an option, but sometimes the drag can create problems. Usually you want to throw it in that window if you're going to throw the wheel route with the drag, but what the drag can do is get super opened up by the wheel route. So that was a little bit confusing, but normally with the wheel route, you wouldn't necessarily want any routes kind of interfering with it, but you want to throw it in that early window so the drag isn't completely across the formation yet. But having the drag over there gives you the option to let it develop, and it creates a usual potential blocking situation for these players. Like if you throw it here, you get some blocks. If that linebacker number 43 was not close, maybe we pick up 20 yards. The other option would be a hitch, and this setup's not even in the ebook, but this is just something else that we can do. And you see you would have inherently more space on the right hand side for that wheel. I threw it late, but you would have more space, and again, if the ball was more on the left, it would be even more ideal. Obviously, we could also just run it normally and have the streak and still have the corner route and still be able to like hit it over there. You guys understand, but so this is also a thing with the ebook is you can look at the ebook and their setups, but you can also create your own setups off of it. Seeing it visually makes that a lot easier, in my personal opinion. Anyways, our last setup is drag RB, post B. So simple drag combination. We still have the flat. We still have this post. So again, you have flat corner route, drag flat, post. Just a really good setup, and we're attacking the middle of the field, we're attacking downfield, still hit this drag, and honestly having the flat there is going to open up some more space for our drags. So throw these drags. You see I have drags in almost every single, it might be a little repetitive, but they're so good in the game this year that you almost have to take advantage of them or you're doing yourself a non-favor. So, you know, use them, take advantage of them, for sure. Anyways, let's move into bunch sale. Which bunch sale we're gonna have 3 setups for, and bunch sale is similar to pat sale or buck sale. If you guys remember Madden, I think Madden 18, this was a very, very popular play out of the gun bunch formation. Some people, I think, would just sit there and run this play every single down. Now it's still good, obvious reasons. We have the backside post, we're gonna use it. Setup number 1 is wheel Y, put X on just a little in route. You could go drag, you could go slant. I like in. And then I like just motion snapping him in there. I think he gets good depth, and I think him being a little bit delayed it forces the user to really pick, am I going to defend the post or am I going to defend the in route? Really, they usually do have to pick one, so it's going to force their hand right there. He runs a very crispy post, just stock. Deep attack, you could really do a lot of the same things out of this play, but I like having the stock streak and the stock flat route because it just makes it to where you don't have to set up as many hot route adjustments. Even if you have to throw this in for, 5 yards, that's more than okay. Now, obviously, it's important to not get lurched there, but I think I forgot to do the motion on that particular play. versus now we have the motion. You see the post route is a lot more open. I still threw it late, but it is still, you know, something that we can do. Anyways, setup number 2 that we're going to do is wheel Y, drag RB, and curl X. Again, we're going to do something similar in motioning this guy out, making this play look the same. Curl flat combos. You see the wheel route ends up getting open late if we want to hit that. And then, obviously, this does a really good job of opening up the flats. The curl could be open against man coverage. Against cover 3, it's a little bit chaotic, especially if you don't motion it out all the way, which is, of course, something that you could do if you really wanted to. And probably putting RB on a regular streak would be a little bit better for this. Like, now this guy, number 42, has crazy instinctual plays, but nice little post. And so, just another option. Setup number 3, we're going to do streak A, corner RB. We're going to drag X, flat Y. And then what we're going to do is motion X across the formation, which is the first time that we've done that. And it's going to look something like this. Very nice concept. We have a corner out that can get open. It would get open more against cover 2 than cover 3. It still technically could get open against cover 3. We know the post is going to be open, and we know this drag is going to be an option, which we haven't had much movement over there. So this corner out can, of course, still get over like that. Having the backside drag is going to be beneficial because what it does is it's going to actually end up pulling down the curl flat on the left against like a cover 3 defense. So we have that. Again, post, old reliable. That's going to be your bread and butter. So I love that setup. Let's hop into the bench pivots play now. We're almost through gun bunch. Trust me, guys. We are almost through the gun bunch offense, and then we'll move into some of the cluster and some of the other setups. So, what are we running? We are running bench pivots. So, out of the bench pivot play, where is it? There it is. Struggling to find it. We have 2 setups for the bench pivot play. So, streak Y, flat Y. It's going to be our first setup. So, streak RB, flat Y. So, first option could be this out route. Now, we don't have good route runners on this team for whatever reason, so they don't run that super crispy. It could be more open if you were a little bit further to the left-hand side. But in this case, it's not. But we really want to hit this tight end corner route if we can. But honestly, it looked like he kind of left. Like, this is the window you want to hit it in, that little early window. You're not really going to use it to throw it on the sideline unless you're facing a cover 2 defense. Obviously over here, simple route combo, good against man coverage because you have the in route. And then, I mean, just a solid setup. It's you can definitely, I mean, based on the offense that we've ran so far, you can see how it'd be easy to catch the opponent off guard running this. So next setup, streak X, flat R or flat Y. This is going to keep the in route or the little zig route. You could put B on a backside post if you prefer that, but the in route I think is a little bit of a nice switch. RB is very good for spacing. You're going to really hit RB more than you hit A in this particular case. But I think if you wait, you could end up getting this tight end open. But it just takes a little bit of time. The pocket could collapse, especially if you're pressured. So what would even get it more opened up is motioning over X if you really wanted to. I try to avoid that because I think it brings attention to the right-hand side. But it is something that you can do, and it would definitely benefit you. So those are my 2 setups for the bench pivot play. Let's go through and hop into Z spot and go. So we're going to streak A, put X on an out route, and drag B. This will be our first setup. And I'm going to actually switch to a cover 2 because this is going to be better against, I think, a cover 2 defense. So against cover 2, this corner out does a really good job in this setup in general. Will it get open against cover 3? It definitely can. It's a tougher throw. This is more of an easier throw. And just a good, again, simple spacing concept. Now, that would be better against cover 3. The vert hook plays that well, or that might have been the mid read. Obviously, you could still hit this out route over there, take your 5 yards, and be happy. So, just a solid, simple setup. Anyways, setup number 2 is deep cross A. Now, what's interesting is this X route is a little bit interesting. I don't use it for any of these setups, but it kind of runs a decent route. It's good against man, but I don't focus on it because we have so many other good man beaters in the offense. Just wanted to bring some attention to it. Deep cross A. We're going to put X on a little out route, and then we're just going to drag B. So, kind of a similar looking setup. Difference is the tight end not on a streak. Put him on a deep cross, which would be better against man. You can see against zone, he's able to run that really well. That would, of course, be open against cover 3, as we've seen in some of the other setups. If you want to be patient, that's where you can hit him. Obviously, the flats are open, so you could hit those at any time. I'll show it one more time here. If you want to incorporate some motion, I'm not going to be mad at that. He runs that route so slow, but it could be better. You could also put him on a flat, motion him out, and kind of get some run after catch opportunity. Anyways, let's hop into mesh spot, which is going to be our next play in this offense. In mesh spot, where are we? Mesh spot, there we are on the right hand side. So this is an interesting setup. It's kind of a hit or miss. Honestly, I'm going to post RB, put B on a speed out, and then I'm going to put X on an out route. First read, going to be this running back wheel that we've hit so many times, of course. You see that he runs it almost a little bit more vertically than the hot route wheel route, which is a little bit interesting to me. Next pass that we could hit is this post over the middle of the field. And then with this tight end, you can almost hit him in this little window. It's a very risky pass. It's a very hit or miss thing, but it can get open. If you hit him like right here, it can work vertically, especially if he was baselined and pressed. That curl flat would not be playing it as strongly as it is. So take this with a grain of salt. But if you throw it in this window, now time it right, unlike me, it can work. So let's hop into our last 2 plays, which are smash return and dig return. I only have 2 set up, so I'm going to throw one of them in the audibles here. Let's start out with smash return. We'll go into dig return, because again, we want to go in order of the written version of the ebook. Setup number 1, we're going to post B, slant RB, and flat Y. Very good man coverage beater. We have RB, that's man coverage. Tight end could beat man coverage. Post could beat man coverage. And then this reverse zig route could beat man coverage. So immediately, this slant is going to get open in a really good spot of the zone coverage defense. The flat could have been considered open as well. And then we just have everything else. Like, take a look at X's route there. It gets in really good depth against zone coverage because the zones will typically drop, of course. We have zones attacking vertically, or routes attacking vertically, like our tight end and our post, that are going to bring them up, and that's going to open him up. Post, kind of a hospital pass. It could be more open times than others. In this case, it's not as open. But, I mean, this setup is good. Now, you could have thrown it in that window if you didn't get bumped. But slant's open, underneath routes open, flat's open. Just a good setup there. Good against man. All these routes would kill man coverage. Last setup is dig return. One setup for this. Good red zone play. We're going to smoke screen B. We have an in route. We have a zig route. 2 man coverage beating routes. If it's zone, one of these 2 guys will be open usually. Or this guy will be open. So you just go to wherever is not, getting attacked. And really what I mean by that is go where the user isn't. Generally, this zig route will be what gets open because it looks like he's coming in. You can catch him off guard out. It's not a traditional depth zig route. It's a deeper zig route. So against man coverage, I find myself getting touchdowns off this play if it's cover 0. Zig route's covered. We can, of course, hit this in route. Now, it would be more of an easy, obvious throw again if the hook curl is usered, crashes down. In route's pretty obviously open. Hard to replicate in practice mode, but that would be usually the case. So we have our next formation, which is going to be the gun cluster halfback strong. I did preset my audibles, I believe, for mesh. Quick base verticals post dig. We are going to start out with verticals, and we're going to have our bunch on the right side now. So with having our bunch on the right side, we're going to just respot the ball ever so slightly here. And this is going to be kind of like a bunch strong look. What we're going to do is just put RB on a post route and flat Y. Simple looking vertical setup. You can hit this post in the middle of the field, or deep rather. It does a really good job of opening up ETN. Good, just quick snap setup. You guys kind of know how verticals works. Now, the tight end is usually open against cover 3. It doesn't get as open in this unless you motion him out. He runs it a little bit quicker than you would like and with a little bit less side-to-side depth. But, of course, situationally it could work. You can't motion snap this receiver. Be careful about that. But I forgot to put RB on the post, but you could run this play stock and have it work if you prefer. If you're looking for more of a crosser, you could leave him on his default crossing route. Anyway, setup number 2 is flat Y, RB on a post, and hitch X. Good spacing. And honestly, with this play, it may be a little bit better short side. Boom, hit him there. You have the hitch route. You could also playmaker the hitch, either in or out, late play situations. Could hit this tight end right there if you get a better throw. So it's a decent play. I don't run cluster a whole lot, but it's kind of nice to switch to it for a second. We got one setup for the post dig. What we're going to do here is drag X, deep cross B, flat RB. And then what we can do is motion snap RB, like out. So we're going to motion him here, and you can snap him here. I really need to respot the ball now. Let's give ourselves a lot more room. So, again, drag X, deep cross B, flat RB. Wrong play. If you don't get the motion snap off, it's really okay. So the wheel is going to do a good job of actually not being open, but what we will use it for is it opens up the drag, and it should open up the deep cross as well. The flat really should be open too. So it really opens up this drag just because that hook curl is so deep. Run it one more time here. And you see the deep cross super open on this play. Deep cross gets really open against cover 4, I think, as well. Anyways, our last play is mesh. We got 2 setups for this. Setup number 1 is a little complicated. We're going to zig X, streak RB, flat Y, deep cross A. Looks like this. We have a nice little corner out from the side, similar to like a corner strike. And you can hit him on the sideline right there. That is against cover 3 on the wide side of the field. Works perfect. I think mesh is probably the best play out of this playbook. Flat Y. Deep cross A, streak RB, zig X. And you see the tight end gets open as well. I would have thrown that a little bit earlier, but you could really throw it on the sideline too. You see how many times I mess up because I have to keep audibling. Forget to audible. I would have tried to get a better click on, but you can hit him in that early window if you want. You can put him on a post route as well. Money setup, though. Setup number 2, Zig RB, Texas Y, drag A, corner X. And then what we're actually going to do is something weird with this play. We're going to motion him out. We are going to snap him motioned on the zig route. And you can, again, hit him in this quick window. The corner out really is almost open as well. So you see the drag is open, the Texas route is open, the corner out on the left can get open, especially if it's cover 0. So that's just a good, solid, unique setup. And we have the quick base, which I'm not going to talk about, but we do have the quick base. I didn't talk about the base out of the bunch either, but that is really your run option. But if you're running Georgia playbook, you're not going to really run the ball out of gun bunch a whole lot because we have so much passing firepower. But it can be decent. Especially if the box is stacked on the right, being able to run it to the weak side can definitely work. Anyways, last thing here is going to be Dece Close. Dece Close, audibles go as counter Y, dive, stretch, PA boot, slide. I only really have one passing setup. This is just a good little run scheme. So with the counter Y, it is not something I run a whole lot, but I will kind of like running this before halftime. Like if there's 2 seconds left in the half, sometimes you can break off like big holes. Number 4, you need to learn Chinese because you didn't block the guy that was going to be wide open. Now, we're not running the ball well, but these runs can be good. I'm sure you've seen people run Dece Close out of Georgia. I like that it's symmetrical. It allows you to run the football to either side. Then you have dive up the gut. We're also on Heisman difficulty, so these guys are going to be shedding, you know, a lot more than they maybe would be. But good for short yardage. It's a difficult run formation to stop because you have the inside and outside threat. So we have the dive. Then we have the stretch. I did post a whole video on Dece Close, and I have more passing schemes out of the Dece Close in my Arizona offensive ebook if you guys want to continue and check that out. But the Georgia playbook just doesn't have any of the good passing plays that you really need, sadly. Some of them you can like kind of hot ride around. These guys are really shedding for a weakly overall rated Georgia or Washington defense. I guess take my word for it. It's a good run formation. I don't know why we can't run the ball right now. I have one passing setup. It's out of the PA boot. Do is just streak A, drag X, angle Y. And this looks like the tight end angle play. You can keep the play action if you would like. Boom. Corner out. Going to be your first read. Can burn people if it's man coverage. If they're running man to stack the box, you can catch people off guard. But anyways, that's pretty much going to wrap up the ebook. If you guys did enjoy, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel down below, and let me know what you guys want to see next. And peace. I'm out of here.